I'm joined here by Olympic gold medalist Adam Peaty. Welcome to Exeter. What brings you here today?
Well, thanks for having me firstly. I'm here with Hydrolife and Jacuzzi today, opening the showroom or meeting some of the customers. I've seen some swimmers downstairs, but also, still establishing and building that relationship with Jacuzzi, because in lockdown we had no other option but other to swim, because all the leisure centres were closed, and it's been, would you believe it, 3 years now, three and a bit years since those, and training into the Olympic Games. So it's nice to say hello to everyone and see some amazing smiles.
So could you tell us a bit about your first connection with jacuzzis and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it kind of developed by chance, I guess, because someone we knew obviously had ties with Jacuzzi. He's based up north, but also that Jacuzzi reached out and wanted to help the squad. So they offered a swim spa to the people in the squad that we could train against, almost like a treadmill, but in water. And that kind of kept us ticking over, because the leisure centres were closed for a few months, and a few months in swimming is like a lifetime. You lose a feel for the water, you lose fitness. I was doing too much gym, so I gained about 8 kilo of muscle. So it was honestly like a lifeline, and it was great to obviously have that support from Jacuzzi.
So how did the connection with Hydrolife come about?
So we opened a showroom in Surrey, and it was obviously great to see everyone there and see some amazing smiles again today. And they're one of the biggest distributors of jacuzzis in the UK. So it's very fitting that we're here today, and yeah, it's a great energy. We've got a great coffee van outside as well, so it's all good.
So obviously it's getting sunnier today.
Yes.
Are you going to be going out to any beaches or anywhere around Devon?
Beaches?
Beaches or anywhere to go for a swim?
I wish. I don't really have much time to go for the beach, especially not in November. My training at the moment is very full on, very focused for Olympic Games. If we're talking about margins, we're talking about less than 1%. We're win and lose by a hundredth of a second. So it's not much at all, especially when you're only doing 100 meters in the race. So we're full focus about recovery. We're full focus about training, nutrition, sleep, everything you can think of in your daily life, we're thinking of. Which again, it brings it back full circle to Jacuzzi. We're talking about recovery, and it's great to have, these amazing machines and amazing places just to relax physically and mentally.
So let's talk a bit about yourself and your career first. When you first won your gold medal, how were you feeling during that?
Well, it does. You do feel very good. I think I always saw it as a good analogy to do or to say is that you've been working 8 years, 12 years, all your life for something, and you've got less than a minute to prove yourself for a promotion. And it's exactly like that. So in Rio, I was new on the block, kind of. I broke the world record a year before, but I wasn't proven. I wasn't a proven athlete. I didn't win. I had never been to an Olympic Games. So once I did that final, once it paid off, that's when I was like, you know what? It's just an incredible moment of relief, not only for myself, but the people who invest in me, the people who are with me every day and see that daily struggle to be the best. They're the ones that you do it for.
So the run up to the Olympics, being in the camp and everything, what's that like?
The run up to the Olympics, when you're talking 2 months out, it starts to get very real. A month out, even more. Then that last 4 weeks is really about maximising as much potential of your own potential, as possible. So you're talking about recovery, nutrition, fine tuning the swimming, but really allowing the body and the mind to rest before it goes into that race period. And that's the hardest bit to do, because it's like you've got so many dials, you've got 1,000 variables to take care of. So it's very nerve-wracking, because it doesn't matter how much work you've done, if you mess up that last bit, it's, you don't want to think of it like that, but that's the reality. But at the same time, it's almost liberating and quite free, because you're like, you know what, I've done all the work, now it's just about fine-tuning. So you can see it from both angles. I like to see life from a glass half full, not a glass half empty. I'm very positive in that approach, but yeah, of course, it's it only comes around every 4 years. So
what's your favourite part of the whole progress, like including the camp, the run up to it?
Yeah, I think just standing on the blocks before you're about to race, because you never know what's going to happen. I think the best parts of my career are the moments where you're like, honestly, you don't know what's going to happen, and you dive in, you're like, wow, this feels good. the back end feels good. I haven't got out of shape or out of breath on this one. And that's the best bit for me, you know. It's because that's where the training's proven itself. The days where you can't open your eyes, you can't get out of bed, your body's so sore you can't move, you can't get off the toilet. Bit too much detail, but those are the days. That's the reality, you know, and that's the best time it pays off.
So when you're stood on that top step of the podium with the Union Jack behind you and the national anthem, what emotions are going through your head? How much pride do you feel in that aspect?
Oh, immense amount of pride. You know, I'm a very patriotic person. I think you have to be an athlete to represent your country firstly, but it's just that moment of breathing in and breathing out, and just like, you know what, my country's been behind me, the people in the country, my friends and my family, and that's what the Olympics are about, you know. Continued resilience, continued performance, continued improvement, but also being in those real low places and finding a way through them. And you know, that's the best bit for me.
What's your advice for people perhaps going through a low stage?
I think life, you know, it's never meant to be like this. It's never meant to be continually up. It's just not sustainable. And we're all going to have low days. We're all going to have weeks or months where we feel like, you know, it's not paying off or something's not working. But I think if you truly believe in something or you have a passion for, you've got to actively seek that every day. Because if you don't, someone else will. And if you don't know where you're going, find a way, find a purpose, or find something, find a goal, put it ahead of yourself, and work your way to that. Because I think those low points are a combination of hormones, chemicals in our brains, you know, low serotonin, low dopamine, but also sometimes I've been there myself, lack of purpose. You know, where's my goal? Where am I actually going? Why am I training so hard for something? Because if you can answer that, then I guarantee that, you know, you'll find happiness in the struggle. Find happiness because you know where you're going.
And finally, what's your top tips for young aspiring swimmers, perhaps in Devon and around the country?
I think my top tips for any young athlete, or any athlete in general, it doesn't matter what age you are, is to take the risk. Push yourself every single day. It doesn't have to be in the same area, it doesn't have to just be swimming or just gym. You can push yourself in nutrition, you can push yourself to get to bed earlier, you can push yourself doing things that make you uncomfortable, because that's where growth is. You know, I'm 29 years old next month, but I've grown the most in the last 2 years of my life. So the last 10% of my life, I pushed myself out more and more, and yes, I have had more low points in those last 2 years, but only because I've made myself uncomfortable. So I think make yourself uncomfortable if you haven't been. If you have been, find a way to push that barrier out even more, challenge yourself, and you know what, just get competitive for life, get competitive for people around you, because that's what makes us great, you know, and you know, accept the challenge every day.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it.